If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine, and maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them, from disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hello listeners, and welcome to this third and final part on the Twin Flames universe. To find out more about International Cult Awareness Month, you can follow the links in the episode description. But for now, here is Cara. The strangest part, and it feels strange to even say the strangest, but it's not exclusive in the way that your twin flame must be somebody else that is also looking for their twin flame. So you could have somebody come up to you on the street. Maybe it's like a family friend who you've never really noticed before, but they've noticed you and they've become absolutely convinced through these teachings and through this belief system that these two people have created. And maybe have even gone to them and said, could this be my twin flame? And they've said, it's a family friend. It's somebody you've known your whole life. Or, you know, the neighbor that lives down the street. And then someone could just come up to me and be like, you're my twin flame. That is so bizarre.
Well, it got even more bizarre because I think the actor Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool, I think somebody said that I'm your twin flame, and then he had to get a restraining order on the person. So it's getting out of hand to where people have to get restraining orders and bodyguards and protection because this group, it's not just Jeff and Shalia, there's a lot of other ones doing it too. Just like, this is your twin flame, it doesn't matter, you need to see them. Like, there was this one other girl that was in the group, in the twin flame group. She's very sweet, she had a very good personality and everything, and but her twin flame, she couldn't talk to her twin flame anymore because the wife found out, and her twin flame had a blocker, and then she still continued to talk to him, or just kind of. So I did that, where I continued to talk to. I didn't get a restraining order or anything like that, but his wife kind of came at me. I mean, he's a serial cheater to begin with, anyways, and he's very childlike. So, yeah, it's just like you're kind of ignoring it. And I mean, it's not just the group. I mean, I didn't get proper attention and stuff as like a kid, and dating's always been hard. So it could be like you're clinging to the person as well. But probably the biggest thing was just like celebrities are starting to get issues with people claiming, oh, it's you're my twin flame. And
well, I imagine as well that if you are somebody that's maybe introverted, shy, doesn't have a lot of confidence or experience in speaking to people that you are attracted to or interested in, that it must be so much easier to have people say to you, you know, this is the right thing to do. This person is definitely interested in you. This will be reciprocated. And then you're could possibly be feeding into the psychiatric disorder of erotomania, where delusions in a person manifest where they believe that somebody that's typically like higher in social status is in love with them. Like going up to Ryan Reynolds and saying, you're my twin flame, you're the other half of me, you're the person that completes me. And he has to say, oh my goodness, I need a restraining order.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just weird how that happens. Just, I mean, you could just be so convinced of something, and I mean, that's how cults operate. They get you to, I mean, you might have mental health issues already, and then this group is like convincing you of this person that is your twin flame, and then it's like, what do you mean you're not my twin flame? Like, they told me you are, and it's like, why aren't you with me? If you're not going to be with me, maybe you might get attacked. Somebody was mentioning that I think that the group is getting more violent. If you go against Jeff and Shalia, I thought Keely Griffin said something about it, or she was exposed to like some shooting, not from the cult, but in the area they're in. So just, yeah, just I mean, you could be so convinced of something. I mean, even a lot of people even said that with Trump. Like, they were so convinced that that Nancy Pelosi and all these people are going to like take all these things away from you, which they never did, and just egg you on that you just will take extreme action like you would normally do. And it's just like, I don't know why I did that. I was so convinced of it. So that's why I feel like with this group, like they get them so amped up that, and it can even be like Jeff and Chili are abusive to them too. Like, they're abusive to them, but then they're also like egging them on to like protect us. But then it's like, then they're not really nice to their followers anyways. So it's like, why are you protecting someone that doesn't even like you? So I kind of feel like that with my parents. Like, they didn't protect me very well. They attack me, but then they want me to help them. So
Perhaps that's where the narcissism that you've mentioned comes in. You know, drip feeding the nice, appreciative, positive things so that you hunger for those. You're like, I'll stick through the negative stuff because eventually I know that good stuff's going to come, even if it's only short lived.
right, like
But
the
on the flip side,
breadcrumbs.
absolutely, like the breadcrumbs. And something else you mentioned, sort of on the flip side of the Ryan Reynolds scenario, is that there are other celebrities that are using terms like twin flames. So I wondered if you could just mention that to the listeners.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez, she mentioned she thought that Mark Anthony might have been her twin flame. And so she said, I think Alicia Keys might have said it. I think Beyonce might have mentioned something about it. I can't quite remember if anyone else. But I think a lot of these people are from New York. So, and I hear a lot of spiritual stuff that happened in New York City, Long Island down there. I even heard something from my aunt of just metaphysics. Like, a lot of famous psychics come out of New York, actually, or the East Coast. So I just thought it was just, I mean, some of the stuff that they say is super accurate. I mean, even I can kind of do it a little bit. I think it has something to do with living by the water. I'm not quite sure, but just, yeah, it was Jennifer Lopez, Alicia Keys, and then you have the issue with Ryan Reynolds. He didn't believe it, but he's around someone that's trying to say like, hey, you're my twin flame.
If
But
you hear that
yeah.
term being used by very famous, very influential pop icons, then you decide that you're going to look that up and you come across the Twin Flames Universe website, which is the first thing you're going to find when you type in Twin Flames on to Google. There you have more issues, because if you are somebody that is vulnerable, suffering, unwell, this is this is something that could exacerbate those things, make those things worse.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to also say real quick. So Jeff at one point mentioned he wanted to maybe start doing the twin flame stuff with celebrities and wanted to charge like $30,000 to celebrities, and then, which is very unrealistic, and then maybe they might buy into it, and then I remember Breanne Price was actually excited that celebrities were starting to mention this twin flame concept. She was like really elated about that, and I just thought was like, oh well, obviously, look, some of them are mentioning it. I don't know anyone else that has. You can always Google that, but
So what is it after your year or so of being back in the group that makes you leave? You're familiar with Jeff at this point. You've spoken about messaging him. Are you in contact with Shalia at this point as well, both of them, and the people that are working for the Twin Flames universe in sort of human resources and other parts of the company?
no, I'm not in touch with anybody. I mean, there was this one girl, the one that was kind of famous because she's kind of part Italian like me. So that's why we connected. And she's younger, and I have like a younger sister and stuff. But when the film company for for a few documentaries were contacting me, I did reach out to some people that were previously in the group. I think an Andrea, and try to reach out to Keely. I don't think I heard anything, and it was like I think with maybe one other person, and just because they needed some footage and interviews for the documentary. But like as far as now, I don't talk to anybody from it, and I don't really follow it or anything like that. I just because these film companies contacted me, I've been kind of like, helping them out with information. Like for instance, the podcast I did with Sarah Steele on her podcast of Let's Talk About Sex. She had a recording of like Jeff kind of going off on the followers, and then I relayed, like I didn't have that footage, but someone else had that on YouTube. And but yeah, I never was really close to anybody really in the group. I mean, I talked to people here and there, but I was never like close to Shalia or really talked to her. Or I mean, Jeff, the latest thing was Jeff called me a liar on YouTube, and I deleted the comment. I think it was about a year ago or so, maybe a little less than that, and I made a YouTube video about it.
You should have left it. You should have left it up there so people could
I
come and see
know.
that
I know.
he's clearly bothered by your content. Otherwise, why would he bother putting comments
Right. I should
there?
have left it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right.
So how was it that you decided to officially walk away from the Twin Flames universe?
I ran out of money. So I ran out of money and I had to get out of it, and it was like hard. Like you felt like addicted to being in the group of just like, you feel like you get these, some like they love bomb you. So to be all nice to you, do all this stuff, and then go off. So, and there was a few nice people in the group too that I like talking to, and I do video calls with people all over the world. I thought that was really fun and fascinating, but just I ran out of money, and I think I spoke out against the group, and I think that I kind of like, I think I left, and then I wanted to come back, and then some people kind of went off on me a little bit. I was like, I gotta leave. So a lot of people were in terror as well.
When you've spent, a couple of $1,000 being a part of this group, is there not any type of payment plan or any type of services that they offer for individuals that are struggling financially to remain a part of the community? Or do they just tell you if you can't pay, you can't stay?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, I could just be in the forum. I just can't, like, if I don't have the money, I can't pay for the classes or whatever. But I think if you speak out enough, I think they'll block you at some point. But I don't really know what they have now. I mean, I just knew at the time, just you could be in the forum and just, you don't really have to type anything, but you just be in it. I mean, if they catch wind of you talking really badly about the group, I'm sure they'd probably, ban you. So.
And if you are not in the coaching program anymore, if you're not in the video calls, if you're not paying the monthly subscription, but you've got loads of people from the Twin Flames universe that you've connected with, added each other as friends, maybe sent DMs to, are those people encouraged to stop talking to you, or can you just carry on those relationships as normal?
That's a great question. I think it could be kind of like that, where like you're not in it, you shouldn't talk to us. But I mean, I have people that wanted to talk to me anyway, and I mean, not anymore, but I think with some people it's kind of like that, like being very loyal to the cult, but then people would message me outside of it, and it was fine. But
so how long ago was that when you finally walked away?
it was a few years ago. Time has went by really fast. It was like 2 years ago, roughly 2 years ago, 3 years.
And you've mentioned that you have a YouTube channel now. So what is the name of your channel and what type of content do you release?
So my channel is just my name. So it's Kara Brodsky. I mean, as far as the spelling of my last name, it's not too hard. It's B as in boy, R-O-D as in dog, S-K-Y. So it should just be under my name. And I have videos. I have a video about Teal Swan and other. I'm going to add more content. So
I'll put a link to that in the episode description if people want to go and watch some more content on your experiences with the Twin Flames universe. Do you still have your copy of Jeff Devine's book?
No, I don't think I bought it. I think I just did the online version on Amazon or Audible or something like that.
And in terms of your experience with the Twin Flames universe, has this prompted you to read up about cults and coercive control and become a bit more informed or educated around the subject, to understand what it was that you went through?
A little bit. I thought, maybe I might be able to help other people as far as like, there's so many cults out there. So it's like, I'll be like, oh, if people are putting fear and guilt in you, you should probably get out of it. Because, I mean, it could even be with a religious group. It doesn't have to be like a cult that has like really out of this world beliefs, but yeah, I mean, no one should really force you into anything. No one should make you do anything you don't want to do. And people have all sorts of beliefs. Like, there's not one belief that everyone should operate out of. It's like, be open to other things. And so, yeah, I mean, I get fascinated with like how cults are very similar, like what they all do. And it just seems to be the same thing. Just there's a leader who's disordered and everybody follows this person. And then they're all wounded and scared or have terrible families, and then they just get sucked into this person, and then they drop them like nothing, and then they, then they may commit suicide, or they may just be very depressed, or whatever that happens. So.
And what has your life been like since you've left the Twin Flames universe? There's the YouTube channel, but there's also your studies.
I mean, it was a little rough. I mean, I've always needed some sort of counseling and therapy, which I've been trying to get over the years. It's really hard to get people to hear you, especially since people do a lot of trauma dumping and venting themselves. It costs a lot of money. So it's been a little rough, but it's smoothing out. I'm going to school, and it's going all right. Could be better, but we're working towards it. So.
Your studies in your master's course in marriage and family therapy, do you feel like you're learning tools to help you with your own experiences, and you're learning vocabulary and terminology to apply to some of the things you experienced as a child?
Oh yeah, I mean, and even in the cult too, triangulation. A lot of people do that. They'll take sides and they'll use you to go against somebody. So, yeah, I mean, even with the cult and in my family and everything, just oh yeah, I mean, I kind of already knew what these terms were. I just didn't exactly it's like the definition of these terms is like I knew, but I didn't know what the name of it was. So, but yeah, I know it totally helps. And being in your late, almost going on late 30s, you kind of have an idea of how families and relationships go, and it's just like, why not help people with them? So.
It's interesting that you had strained and difficult experiences as a young person, and you've had this cultic experience where you've experienced, then you've had this cultic experience where some of those same themes and tactics are used in that environment. And now you're working towards being educated and licensed to help people understand those experiences and overcome them as well. Is that something that just happened, or did you make that decision, that conscious decision, after understanding your experiences?
I mean, as far as like wanting to be a therapist, or I used to clean houses for the rich and do housekeeping and things like that. What I noticed is they wanted to talk about their families more than letting me clean their home. So I was like, why don't I do that? And then the other thing was I took the Myers-Briggs personality test like a bazillion times, and it says I'm an INFJ, and they said they're very good at counseling people. So I was like, well, there's that. I like people, and I like helping, and I like love. So I like, and I like families and kids and helping out. So it's like, why don't I just do that? And then throwing into the whole cult thing. I mean, I feel like a lot of families push their kids to go to cults because, well, if they're not getting a good home life there, they want to seek it elsewhere. And that's what I kind of did myself, where like, I love people and I want to be in groups and things like that. But I mean, if it's that controlling, it's like, shouldn't be in it. It should be like, maybe meet up once a week and go for hikes, play board games, things like that. Nothing too crazy. So, yeah, I
That
mean,
sounds
as
like
far
my
as being,
perfect week. Going for a
yeah.
hike and then doing board games. That's my perfect week.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fine, go on vacation, go to a nice resort, go in the pool, just very relaxing things. But yeah, I mean, the cult didn't inspire me to become a therapist. I was just like, well, it is kind of hard to make money in New York a little bit without having a degree and having a license in something. So,
Well, here's my bright idea. If people don't want others to know that they're going to therapy, you could be like a secret therapist. You go in with all your cleaning supplies and you're like, I'm just a family cleaner. And then you sit down and you take off your apron and then you sit down and you're like, okay, let's pick up from where we left off last week. And then
oh,
you're actually the therapist. And then no one knows because you couldn't drive. Imagine if you live in one of those neighborhoods where everyone knows each other's business and you're like, I can't
oh
even
yeah.
drive to this therapist's office because everyone knows that that's the therapist. So you could be the secret therapist.
It's funny, my neighbor actually said that once, like, oh, we're having a lot of problems here. It's like, oh, you're a marriage and family therapist, you should come help us. It's like, I mean, a lot of their issues are not really that solvable. I mean, there's some families it's just like probably should separate, but you
Yeah.
can't
And also
exactly say that.
therapy's not something that people should be ashamed of either. So but
No, no,
there
no.
is, I think, in a lot of communities where there's this kind of outward representation of what their inner life looks like, which is perhaps not always accurate. A lot of people don't want to disclose that they are in therapy or attending therapy. But yeah, so maybe Cara, secret therapist. Um and then people are you'll have to have some kind of code where people say, you're like, do you want the this is kind of I suppose in some ways kind of cult like to have hidden terminology where you say to
Right.
people, do you want the basic clean or the deep clean? And then people are like, I am after the deep clean. You're like, okay, I can come Wednesday morning.
I mean,
That's
mobile
funny.
therapy, that might not be a bad option, just like, but you have video and phone, so you wouldn't necessarily have to
Yeah, that's
travel, but maybe
true.
they do want you to come in the home. And that's possible. I mean, with being marriage and family therapist, it's not just marriages and families. It could be like a company. It could be, a corporation of just like, hey, what are we doing wrong here? Why are some people bringing morale down? What's going on? What can we do to fix this? And so I thought that was very fascinating where someone said, I like to help military veterans and their families. So, or firefighters, like just a whole room of firefighters, like, just doesn't have to be their families. So I just thought that was really cool to get into. Just I don't have to help. So that's what I can do. I can help advertise and do people that are in cults of like, you were controlled, you were brainwashed, and now you're out. Now we're gonna talk about it and process what happened, and just know that you can live a normal life afterwards. Could have nightmares and things like that, some PTSD, but it's really the processing of having emotionally charged things going on within you. Like you'll think about it, but not as strongly as you did, maybe a year ago. So I just really like that. So
I love that as well. And I think that it's a year and a half until you finish your master's course and you have a really strong idea of where you are headed after that course. And that's really quite inspiring when we reflect on some of the experiences that you've talked us through today, and hopefully inspires anybody listening that has related to parts of your story today. So my last question really is to ask you if you have any advice for people that have perhaps experienced similar destructive online spaces, dangerous online spaces, that have perhaps been involved with the Twin Flames universe themselves, or something similar to that, in which they are now deconstructing and attempting recovery from leaving an addictive online space.
So the advice that I would give would be, well, I mean, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. I mean, you can find people you get along with very well easily, but it's not too good to be true. It's just like natural, free flowing, and light. But what I would probably the biggest thing I would probably give advice on is just probably more the aftermath. Like in the beginning of it, you could be love bombed and you may not catch the red flags right away. But if you're out of it, don't isolate yourself. Don't isolate yourself. Make sure you find a good therapist who probably maybe even specialize in cult or controlled groups, because they know, they have the proper training for it. And I think any cult, you're going to have the same problems. So like it was an illusion that you were brainwashed. So definitely don't isolate yourself. And if you don't really have anybody, you could call a hotline. If your family is deceased or past, or, abusive, definitely don't go to them. It's up to you, but if they're deceased, obviously not. But if they're abusive, I wouldn't recommend going to them. I'd just really get the mental health counseling that you need, and maybe you even needed that to begin with. So
Take your time, don't rush, seek counseling if you think it might be beneficial for you, and whatever you do, don't isolate yourself so you're completely alone. There's some wonderful things in there, and it echoes a lot of what other survivors have said on the show before, so there has to be something in those things that keep getting repeated. And it's interesting because I wonder how many people take their own advice. I often find myself saying, oh, this is how we should practice self-care, and then I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so stressed, why am I not listening to my own advice? But I do hear the same thing. So there has to be so much in counseling and seeking positive community, whether that's friends, families, loved ones, or positive online spaces. There are a lot of places that offer post-cult support, groups that are made up of fellow survivors. So if anybody would be interested in joining one of those, please email me at cultvaultpodcast@gmail.com, because I am aware of a number of those that are ongoing, and the feedback from individuals from those groups is always very good. And of course, they are controlled groups in the way that there is moderation from individuals, or moderation by individuals who understand cults and coercive control, which is very important, because then that toxicity that you've explained happened in your space, Cara, there's no place for that in these groups. So that kind of leaves us to the end of our chat today. You mentioned that your father's friend was somebody you considered as your twin flame. And then you started to wonder, oh, maybe it could be any of these people. Maybe it could be all of these people. Were there any other individuals that you seriously considered or approached about this subject?
The current person, and then I think I was like on online dating sites many years at the time, like many years ago, of like thinking like every person that contacted me was, and I was just like, whoa, this is kind of a little overboard. I think just typically, like if someone's very quick to want to get married or be in a committed relationship, I'm like, you must be my twin flame. So I was like very quick to think that, and it's just because I kind of have a little bit of OCD, so I kind of like overthink the same thing a lot. So that could have been a contributing factor. So,
And the person you're currently with now, who you thought had the potential to be your twin flame, have you discussed this with them?
oh, I mean, not just discuss, just kind of over dramatically tell them, and they got weirded out, and then didn't really work out. So I'm kind of on the outs right now. So
the twin flames concept is something that you do believe is something that exists.
no, not at all.
It's interesting because I wonder how many people leave the twin flames universe either because they're kicked out or because they leave off on their own accord or because they can't afford the payments anymore and still continue to believe that this concept is something that has any substance, which of course it might well do, in the same way that Jesus Christ might have walked the earth and have abilities and performed miracles. I always, I'm an atheist, so I don't believe that that's true, but I always say that one day the world could end and there could be one group that is carried to the rapture, and they'll be like, we told you we were the ones, we told you that we had it right and that we were the only ones that were going to be saved. And we'll all be like, well, gosh darn, it looks like you were telling the truth the whole time. Maybe it'll be the Jehovah's Witnesses, maybe it'll be all these people that have found their twin flames. We'll never know, but it's something interesting to ponder. I think this whole time maybe I'll just be proved wrong or they'll be proved right, whichever way you want to look at it. So is there anything that you would like to add to our discussion today, Cara, before we finish up?
I think I covered pretty much everything. Just don't go in the cult. That's all.
Yeah, if you get a friend request from a new age spiritualist group that have some expose, well, I don't think this expose would have been out at the time, but have some exposés written by a rather upstanding media outlets, don't accept that friend request. Yeah, that's a great place to start. Fantastic, Cara. Well, I'm gonna thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you and coming and telling us your story today. And I appreciate your I appreciate where you are in life and how you are moving from your degree in psychology onto your master's degree and how you have a clear plan to move forward in your own recovery and in helping other people in their recoveries as well. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Take care, Cara. Bye.
Bye.
That is the end of this mini-series on the twin flames. To find out more about International Cult Awareness Month, you can follow the links in the episode description. To get in touch with me, you can find me at cultvaultpodcast@gmail.com or find me on Twitter and Instagram at cultvaultpod. I'm your speaker, Casey, host of the Cult Vault Podcast.